Раз. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. In few minutes we'll start our panel session. Thank you. Уважаемые господа, просим занять свои места. Через несколько минут мы начнем нашу панельную сессию. Спасибо. Раз. Тест. Раз, два, три. Раз. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. We are starting our panel session. Thank you. Yes. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat, and would love to invite to the stage our honorable panelists. Our panel name is Catalyzing Innovation Venture Capital in Central Eurasia's Transformation. We will talk how venture capital is driving digital innovation, startup growth, economic integration across Central Asia, with a specific focus unlocking cross-border potential, enabling the next wave of tech founders, VC funds, angel investors in area of AI. So let's applaud our panelists. My name is Sardor Mohamed Ali, founder of a business network. And our first speaker is Mr. Robin Butler, the partner of Sturgeon Capital, please, and also founder of 5am Club. This is shortly about me. I'm the regional partner of iClub. This is international VC club who unites more than 20,000 business angels. In portfolio, we have 15 unicorns and investing mainly all around the world. Also, I have 20 years background in corporate sector, responsible for this area and the Silk Road countries. So my company's business network can be helpful on these services. We are the experts of the services. We work with S&P 500 companies and can be helpful on management consulting, organizing B2B, B2G matchmaking meetings in different parts of the world. And also we are very strong in GR, and we're helping to opening the new countries. Also in the investment pillar, we are the bridge between the startups and the funds, and also do with partners, Helen partner, investment migration, and with the partners on the VC part. And also we can be helpful on C-level executive search in this area, and we are very heavily on the business events. Annually we do more than 100 events in a partnership. This is our geographies where we can be helpful to you guys. So if you are going into the startup ecosystem of the Central Eurasian, we are talking about the all 5 stand countries and plus Caucasus. Here is thanks for the analytics from the Vice. So we have this analysis from the market. Kazakhstan is leading on the venture capital ecosystem. These guys started earlier. And I think Bahit can tell more about how they started, how they are helping. And currently, there are more than 1,000 startups with 50 plus active VC investors. And there are key ecosystem players like Astana Hub, like Most Holding, Bahit is co-founder, and several other organizations who are supporting and driving innovations in Kazakhstan and also actively investing to the region as well. And after that, we go to the Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan currently we have more than 400 startups and 25 active investors. And the key player here is IT Park. Thanks IT Park for the developing innovations with like an ecosystem, key ecosystem player, regional, and also they are making expansions to regions, other regions. If you see the Kyrgyzstan, around more than 300, and the Kyrgyzstan is also developing, accelerate prosperity, and the other active ecosystem players. And after that goes to the Tajikistan, more than 100 active startups, and also with other key players. If we can see the VC deals, how they done, mostly you can see from the table that the Kazakhstan is dominating in terms of investments on the VC, but Uzbekistan is growing. It means it's a positive trend to Uzbekistan that the ecosystem is developing, more startups are coming, more funds, more players are coming on the investment. But still, Kazakhstan dominates, and also we can see the trend from Kazakhstan. Kazakh startups are raising more money comparing to the previous years. If you can see, 2018, 75% was like a small tickets, but currently the small ticket size, if it was 75% in 2018, for last year it was only 28%. Means the startups in Kazakhstan are raising more money in later stages and so on. And if we can see the verticals, you can see that the fintech, AI, health tech, enterprise software as the trending verticals where most of the investors are investing. And we have a significant growth in these areas. It's about the Kazakhstan numbers. And if you can see the Uzbekistan, this is Uzbekistan, how it's growing on the VC part. So we have several key players. I think most active here is Aloka Ventures, and Mr. Davron is representing managing director of the Aloka, and he will tell more about how his organization is supporting the innovations. And we have a UzVC part, Semurk VC, the Sturgeon Capital. We have Robin, thanks for joining us from UK and supporting the region, Robin. So you can see also the values. So I will not go deep. You can make a photo. These are the most active venture capital funds who are supporting the region and the startups. And also one of the good trends in Uzbekistan, and the thanks for the government of Uzbekistan, thanks for the Minister of Digital Transformation, IT Park, and all ecosystem players, the angel investor communities. So a lot of good things are happening in Uzbekistan, which is definitely after several years will be fruitful to the industry. One is now Uzbekistan has its own unicorn with the Uzum platform for last year. So they've been more than 1 billion valuation. And also several president decrees on the changing this industry, the regulatory reforms. Also, Global Women in Tech activities last year launched. We know that plug and play as also acceleration programs are actively here and helping startups to raise, to accelerate. And also we know that the IT Park launched their IT Park Ventures. And also the Presidential Tech Awards, that's one of the biggest tech awards for the startups. I think the ticket size was 1 million, right? Or 2 million now. Okay, great. This is a great opportunity to the young startups to be part of this ecosystem. So Uzbekistan is, we believe, right track. And this is short about the Kyrgyzstan market. So Kyrgyz market is mostly, it's small. I would say maybe just a very beginning, early stage of a development of VC market. And you can see more than 80% of the raised capital is under 50K. And these are the, what kind of tools they are doing, like whether safe, whether venture debt, equity, or convertible notes. Yeah. This is about me shortly. I will be more than happy to be helpful to you guys. These are all my contacts. Thank you. And I would like to give the floor Mr. Bakht Niyazov. Bakht, please.
Thank you, Sardor. And I want to have just short introduction myself. What I do in Kazakhstan. Next time.
Да. Просим поставить Бахт Ниязова там презентацию. Спасибо.
Yeah, thank you. I am venture investor from Kazakhstan. I was born here in Uzbekistan. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Sardor, for this invitation. I'm so happy to spend time in my favorite city in the world. I'm happy to see the huge progress what we have last 10 years especially. And I want to say that I have about 24, 25 startups in my personal portfolio. The best one is Turing AI, what was my first unicorn. I invested 6 years ago. I didn't know anything about AI, but I'm happy that it happened. I represent here most ecosystem. I think the first venture ecosystem in Central Asia. We set up the first fund, and now we have 2 more. It's coming soon. I have, I think, the best business incubator with a very famous accelerator program. We have a lot of superstars from our acceleration program, and I recommend to Uzbek startup also to come to us and to participate in the future. Most IT Hub is the famous place in Kazakhstan, the best view from our office and to mountains, and the best community. Highly recommend to come to be my guest anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our investment club is, you know, it was the first investment club in the region also, and we had a lot of deals already, and now we have about 5 or 6 very strong investment clubs, independent investment clubs with private angels, what is also a big achievement for us. Now we are building a new product. It's Most Neobank. We are going to support our startups and to give them loans to develop their products. I think it will be one of the most successful our products in portfolio, and I will give more details. If you ask me later, I can explain how it will work. My personal studio just started. I'm just setting up it. You first people who know about it. This studio will be my personal launchpad for founders, for young founders. I'm gonna spend time with new generation of founders from our region. It will be quite limited numbers of startups every year. I think we will make 5, 6 MVPs every year. But I will be focused on young entrepreneurs, and I want to share of my skills to help them to be successful. Gen2B is my AI startup with my partner Armen, who is here with me. It's, you know, it's a new experience for investor to try the role of co-founder. It's completely different lifestyle, completely different challenge, and I'm a little bit stressed by this work, but I'm happy to be here with my first startup. And I will have a few projects in the area of mobility because my city, Almaty, has a lot of problem connected with our ecology, with our situation on the roads, and people don't have a comfortable life, and my kids don't have comfortable life. And big part of this is to change our transport ecosystem and to develop new products. It will be connected to IT, to startups, but mostly it will help to our city. It's mostly social impact projects. And our UMA Angels Club, welcome to us. If you are a founder of startup, we can raise money for you from any startup from Central Asia. And usually my personal syndicates started from $200,000 until $600,000 for pre-seed rounds. Thank you so much, Rahmat.
Thank you, Baht, for a brief introduction. Thanks for having you here. And the next, I would like to give the floor to Davron. Davronike, you are one of the active venture funds in Uzbekistan. And if you can tell us what's the current focus and the situation in the venture capital Uzbekistan.
Thank you, Sardar. Yeah, Bas from Tashkent, and we didn't know that. Yes, sir. I'm a corporate venture fund. I'm a former banker in Alaka Ventures. Now, 7 years ago, we started doing the super app for the bank, and at the time, so many aggregation and payment system issues arise, and we opened our first company for the PayCs, and this company was invested by Alaka Bank, and after 12 months, we sold it 12x. And story at the bank opening the venture arrived. Our management started, let's open the venture fund. And every time we applied to central bank, they said for the banks, risk-weighted average of venture investments very high, so this was difficult to us. And 2020 was pandemic and everything, digitalization, all these tax offices opened their APIs, government agencies opened their APIs, and everything was clear that venture in innovation in the bank only key driver for the doing the good products, because corporates can't do product. We spent millions of dollars for the products in our corporate. So, and the second story is we helped to raise PayMe. We opened all our integration to PayMe, and this PayMe acquired by TBC more than 100 million. And it was our second problem, that opening the kind of these companies also good. And now we're doing the fintech spin-off our super apps. For example, Zumrat, Alaka Business as a startups, and so we are preparing it. And venture started 3 years ago. Actually, all the venture ecosystem in Uzbekistan is very new. It's 3 years old. At the beginning in 2020, all our venture chakra opened by Sturgeon. Robin opened our venture chakra 5 years ago, and they invested to Arzon Tech, Zood, and good startups. Now we are doing the couple of exits together with these companies. Thank you for Sturgeon. And now in 3 years, we invested 44 startups. With small check size. Average check size is 200K, but now we are giving the follow-on to best of them. And from this year, we are giving small check size for MVP construction up to 20K, and follow-on up to 1 million. Because Fund on Reconstruction and Development is allocating money for startup development, and they're saying that let's burn this money for the startup ecosystem. And now we are flexible with check size up to 1 million and follow on. There are 44 startups and there are 20 million users. B2B is also rising, and our startups selling outside of Uzbekistan. Every invested dollar brought us co-investment from abroad. $1 from Uzbekistan brought $4 from abroad, from venture capital. So we have shown this result to the government officials, present administration, and central bank. They're helping us to to grow this startup ecosystem. And last time the president administration guys had said that let's venture per capita Uzbekistan now is almost $2, and they said let's make it higher. And now his innovation is he's my second mentor, Alisher Aka. He also advises to open me to pitching to the decision makers. He's because of him I pitched to every decision maker. Now his ecosystem is growing. Now Uzbekistan have more than $100 million of corporate ventures funds. This kind of story is in Turkey also. In Turkey there are so many 400 venture funds, and the corporate ventures, the share of the corporate ventures is almost 30%. It's very good for innovation. And we at the beginning when 3 years ago we opened our Aloka Ventures incubation, and then we opened Aloka Venture acceleration programs. At that time it was very difficult to find good mentors, and we find there's some good guys who they started helping, but it was the the venture investment period, active investment period is for 3 years, and you should burn this money. At the time we said that let's bring the good acceleration program. We with ITU Park, Aloka Ventures was a partner for plug and play. And for the plug and play, we opened the plug and play, and the first batch was good, 300 applicants. Second year was 100 applicants. Every year, applicants is quality of applicants was bad. So they said the problem is not in school. The problem is in kindergarten. So we opened the startup garage. In the whole region of 40 branches in Uzbekistan, all this region we covered all region with we are giving all our Aloka Banks branch is a meeting rooms, all Aloka Banks meeting rooms given to the startup garage. Now startup guys is sitting in our bank, and we are giving them up to 20K and investing. If they are good, we will follow on with higher check sizes. Now startup garage open it in Saudi Arabia, in Morocco, in Qatar. Next month we will go to the United States with Silk Road. We will open our branch there and send our local talents to conquer other markets. Now it's 30 countries, and we actively go into MENA and Indonesia. Next slide. It's all local venture funds is now is as you see that as the second slide in local active venture funds is very growing. From this year, total venture capital is more than 100 million, and private equity companies also joining. 3 of private equity companies also invested startups. One of them gave the 5 million to one of our startups, and second also doing due diligence. So higher check size also will be given to startups with private equity, and doing some super apps to fintech spin-off. So yeah, in 3 years we have done result, and with more capital allocation we will go faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Davron. Impressive, and thanks for supporting innovations in Uzbekistan and the region. My next question is to Robin. Robin, you are one of the early international investors who came to the Central Asia. You invested. What's the current situation in the Central Eurasian venture market? Where you see the opportunities, and where are the issues, and how we can bring it to the next level?
Assalamu alaikum, Qatar Rahmat, for having me here. It's always a pleasure to be in Tashkent. Just brief bit of context. I'm one of the partners at Sturgeon Capital. We're headquartered in London, but we invest exclusively in emerging markets. Today we manage just under 300 million across private equity and venture capital. I run our early stage VC funds, where we're currently investing out of our second fund, anchored by the IFC SBI Holdings, who actually I met at the Tashkent International Investment Forum 2 years ago, and the Kazakhstan Investment Corporation. In total, we've made today 28 early stage investments across what we call emerging Asia, which includes Central Asia, the Caucasus, and South Asia, ex-India. You asked kind of what, let's say, trends today. I remember in 2018 when we first came to Uzbekistan, kind of after the change in government, and the signals that were there that the market was opening up to international investment, the liberalization of the currency, of the FX regime, the removal of the dual currency regime. When we spoke to kind of government and business officials, people didn't recognize software as being technology. Only hardware could be technology. So to go from that situation to where we stand today, where I think Davron and the work you've done at Aloka Ventures, alongside what the IT Park has done, is truly phenomenal over the last five or 6 years. It's sometimes difficult in this world to see kind of on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-on-month kind of progress, but when you zoom out over the last 5 years, the progress that's been made within IT Park and Aloka Ventures is immense, I think. And in terms of where do we go from here, I think if we start with Uzbekistan, I think the funding problem has largely been solved, especially at early stage. It's now a question of building the pipeline of deals through efforts like Startup Garage, IT Park, Most as well, and the work that they're doing within the region, and also encouraging companies from other markets to enter the Uzbek market. I see speaking to a company earlier that's looking to expand here. One of our Pakistani portfolio companies is expanding here at the moment, helped by Startup Garage. We've helped a couple of Georgian businesses enter the market as well, so that we don't have a mismatch between the supply of capital and the kind of deal flow available. And you look, say, Kazakhstan, and I won't go into too much, as there are people who know the market much better. But Kazakhstan is certainly sort of 2 to 3 years ahead of where Uzbekistan is. I think largely because it started working on sort of building the venture ecosystem earlier, and I don't think you can overstate the importance of what Kaspi has done to change people's mindsets about what is possible. The scale of a company that can be built in a country like Kazakhstan. You say, well, Uzbekistan, twice the population. In principle, you could build something twice the size. And I think you see some of the kind of companies that are already operating here today. I think that's eminently possible. The final point I'd just say is, away from the core business of what we do, we have a foundation that provides scholarships here in Uzbekistan, and we had dinner on Sunday with some of those scholars, and I think the folks we sit with in this room, there's a lot of very bright, very smart people, but we don't often get the chance to sit down with truly the next generation of entrepreneurs, of politicians. Who knows what they'll go on to do with? But I can tell you, spending a couple of hours with some of these, most of them are sort of recent graduates or in their last year or two at university. Uzbekistan has a very bright future, and I think it's our responsibility as investors, as entrepreneurs, as business people, and within the government, to create the environment to allow those people to thrive and to build the next generation of businesses.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks for the brief information about the surgeon, and we believe to new projects will appear in your portfolio from the other part of the Central Eurasia. And we know the Pasha Holding is actively also investing for the innovations, and one of the events I'm really delighted and joined was InMerge Summit, also bringing great speakers, technologies, startups, and we know that the Pasha Holding is also investing in Uzbekistan, like a Pasha Construction, and because Uzbekistan is now open to the world, giving one of the best investment opportunities, which attracts the foreign investments. And we know also the Seabreeze is constructing. It's a great signal that from the foreign investors are coming, especially from the Central Eurasia. And what are the current focus of Pasha Holding on the innovations, and do you plan the investments to this region as well?
Sure. Thank you very much, Sardor. So in terms of innovation and investment, Pasha Holding has been bearing this time. The first head is what we are doing internally with our companies, with all our portfolio, financial and non-financial. And that's a huge variety of activities, including corporate incubator accelerator program, including scouting processes, POCs, intelligence reports, hackathons, a lot of things that we are putting together to make sure that our companies are well informed about what's happening.
Is Stal Shirakian, you are experienced investor, not only VC but also private equity and other asset classes with your family business, and investing across the globe and also to the region as well, Central Eurasia. What we have to do, like ecosystem players, all the investors, to bring this region to the next level, coming after 5 years, 2030, that the Central Eurasia is really on a focus of the world, that investors would like to come here, the VC funds, corporate VC, and what steps we have to do, and what are the top barriers currently maybe not boosting this sphere. Thank you.
Sardar, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here, a part of this distinguished panel of experts coming from representing the Central Eurasia. Before answering your question, I would like to spend a couple minutes to first give the background, my personal background, and also put the Central Eurasia into global perspective through my own experience. So 30 years ago, I was lucky to join a selective group of youngsters to receive a scholarship from the US government, and that allowed me to study at Columbia University in New York. And there were a number of other people from the former Soviet Union, including somebody like Mikhail Saakashvili and Lada Gurganidze and various other people that became famous later. So back then, I remember when we came to United States back in mid-90s, and each of us tried to explain to the other students that came from around the world, and even professors at Columbia University. So I would say, I'm from Uzbekistan, somebody would say, I'm from Georgia, and immediately people say, well, in my case, Pakistan. And my friend would, they would say, Georgia, what do you mean, like Georgia, state of Georgia? And so we had back 30 years ago an identity problem, where people wouldn't even be able to identify Uzbekistan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Mongolia on the map. So that was a real challenge, I think, for decades, really. And so when I was introduced by some of my friends here prior to our panel, and to people that don't know me, and they would say, here is Ali Shirakia, he is the first investment banker from Uzbekistan, which is obviously a very pleasant title to have. So I started my investment banking career after finishing Columbia University, my master's degree there, first on Wall Street, then in London, Zurich, working for Credit Suisse First Boston, and prior to that with Lazard in New York, and then with Renaissance Capital in Russia. And so being the first, indeed the first investment banker from Uzbekistan working for these established institutions, it just shows you how our countries in Central Eurasia are really young on the global stage. Because I worked for institutions on Wall Street back then in Europe that are more than 100 years old, whether it's Citi or JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. And then today, in the morning panel, those who were there may have noticed that there was a panel that included 5-6 speakers coming from, and they are senior managers from firms like Linde, Suez, EDF, and others. So these, and I just quickly counted, each of these firms are more than 100 years old. And and together, collectively, they employ about 1 million people globally. And so here, when we are in Uzbekistan, in Kazakhstan, in Azerbaijan, our leading companies, and many of them are here, presented here at the Expo, many of them are less than 30 years old. Pasha is less than 30 years old. Most is like, what, 15 years old? Even less.
Because most started 20 years ago maybe, but our VC story started maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, so, and Davron, who says I'm one of the mentors, thank you very much. You know, he's a fine representative of the younger generation. So if I started my career in investment banking 30 years ago, and I became a pioneer, so now Davron taking a torch and going forward with his pioneering work, and he said in his slides, you know, we started 3 years ago, and his chakras were opened and facilitated by gentlemen here, and this gentleman is not even 40 years old, if I'm not wrong, right? So in fact, speaking of age, I also noticed, but just casually looking at the other panels, this is the youngest panel here at the forum. So this is shows you that, coming back to your question, Sardar, how do we best represent the countries of Central Eurasia on the global stage? It is really through the advocacy, being able to tell the compelling stories, and I'm glad Robin, his colleagues, are doing a great job of promoting our region globally among the LPs, and then I can tell you what a challenge that job is, because I did a personal study of the region, and you would be sort of kind of really shocked that despite the fact that this region of 100 million people includes 9 countries, if you include 5 countries of Caucasus, 3 countries of Caucasus, 5 countries of Central Asia and Mongolia, 100 million people, and yet since 1991, in the last 34 years, this gentleman represents a firm that became the only firm that focused on this region in terms of private equity experience, that was able to raise more than just one fund, which is I don't know whether you know that statistics. So which shows that it's been a very difficult to develop fund management industry here, private equity management industry. We can talk about why it's so. There are a lot of subjective and objective reasons for that, but it just only shows you how a lot of these industries here, whether it's private equity, whether it's venture capital, these are all young industries. But and so therefore we really have a early stage of the traction. We don't have tons of unicorns. Estonia would overwhelm the whole region when it comes to the number of